As a female Marine, identity politics inbound. It's pathetic for me to see a female elected official respond that a man who disliked her political efforts is because she won't date him. A pitiful rebuttal. AOC, you look narcissistic. He talked about her fucking boyfriend's feet. You're insane. You are insane. If I did a thread with one criticism of you and then was like, hello, ma'am, let me talk about your feet at length, or as I call them, the piggly wigglies. Now, if you put them in a jar of jello, right? Like, if I did that thread, right? Would you not have a right to be like, ew, stop? Okay, here it is. Okay, let's talk about this for a second. So, Steve Courts posted, if leftists like AOC actually thought mandates and masking worked, they wouldn't be frolicking in free Florida. Now, you can make the hypocrisy argument here, right? And the thing is, this is an interesting discussion to have because I've talked about recently how the states that are being overly represented in COVID cases, the majority of them are actually Republican. The states that are seeing their healthcare systems pushed to the brink are mostly Republican. And these are the states that are also less stringent on masking, less stringent on social distancing, less stringent on vaccines, etc., right? And vaccine cards to go into businesses. Now, this is on top of the fact that by default, you would think that liberal centers would be the areas that are hit hardest by a thing like, a pandemic. Why? Because when you have a bunch of people densely packed in a city next to each other, that's where pandemics and diseases and stuff like that are more likely to succeed and infect more people. This is true historically, and it's still true in the modern ages. Definitely, if they're a hub of international travel, like New York, for example, which gets international travel year-round. And New York, I believe, was still in the top 10, but also it's extremely front-loaded. Destiny talked about this recently. I had a conversation with him and a bunch of others about this. Their deaths and their cases are extremely front-loaded. It's not exactly the same right now. So we can have this argument about hypocrisy in comparison to reality and if this is hypocritical. But then this person threw it. He threw the game, okay? He threw it right out the gate. How did he throw it? Vish, thanks for the tier 1. He threw it from the second comment and his yellow Sharpie. Her guy is showing his gross, pale feet in public, not at a pool/beach, with hideous sandals. Dude, I'm gonna be honest. If you were to send me this picture of AOC with her boyfriend, with nothing else, no Sharpie, no comments, at no point would I be looking at AOC's boyfriend's feet. At no point would I think, if I did for a moment look at AOC's boyfriend's feet, that I should, his male feet, thank you for correcting me, chat. At no point would I say, I need to comment on AOC's boyfriend's feet. Right? At no point would that come into comparison. Not to mention, him calling them gross and pale and all this. To be clear, you can't see any of his feet. You can see like this tiny part, like in between the fabric, right? And like you can't see any of it. I have no clue if his feet are gross, right? I have no clue if his feet are like disgusting or whatever. But I can't see his feet. Unless, of course, this man has been studying this feet for so long and looking at pictures of it that he's been able to put this together. Like he's like a watcher of AOC's boyfriend's feet. So this is when he threw the game. Why is he going after AOC's boyfriend's feet? Like just stick to these Democrats, they vacation in Florida, I'm sure Cortez Steve was very active when it came to Ted Cruz in Cancun. But also, not at the pool/beach was another thing he said. When was it like a rule that you only wore sandals at the pool or the beach? Like sandals, like it depends on the weather. Like if it's nice and it's warm, like you can wear sandals really just about anywhere. long as it's not an extremely like high profile, like classy establishment, most places will let you wear sandals in eateries. Definitely if you're gonna be outside like this, or like going for a picnic or something. Who made the law that it only has to be at the pool or the beach? Not only who made the law, but who made the like social like stigma around this? I don't think there really is any social stigma around this. Dude, I'll go into gas stations in winter and I'll sometimes see some people wearing these sandals. And that's in cold, icy Maryland right now, which I'm wearing the sweater inside because of how cold it is up here. And he's in sunny Florida. I don't know, man. This guy just seems to have an obsession with AOC's feet. I mean, he even took the time to take out a little yellow Sharpie and added a little circle around it. So AOC sees this and she responds, if Republicans are mad, they can't date me. They can just say that instead of projecting that, instead of projecting their sexual frustration onto my boyfriend's feet, you creepy weirdos. Now look, obviously there's not a lot of scenarios where you point at someone and say, you're attracted to me and this is weird, right? But if somebody's micromanaging you or your boyfriend's feet, this is one of the few scenarios where you can clown on them and you can mock them. 100%. Like, this is just weird. And the thing is, he could have stuck with the like usual argument that people soy out about. It could be like, well, look at the hypocrisy. And you could do that. You can have a hypocrisy argument. You can have that hypocrisy debate. But then you spend half of your tweet talking about her boyfriend's feet. And then it makes this, her calling you a creepy weirdo and like, oh, you're just taking out your sexual frustration right now, a completely reasonable response. I cannot think of a lot of scenarios where I thought AOC was going to tweet at somebody, calling them creepy and say, stop like taking your sexual frustration out on my boyfriend. That's not like, you know, something I thought would happen in my lifetime, but that's something that just happened. Anonymous Gifter, thank you for gifting a tier 1 sub to Kazakhstan. Very nice. I appreciate that. Welcome, Kazakhstan, to the channel. Please don't imprison me. But then this tweet right here spawned like a host. I think it was just like, for a lot of people, this tweet, and I'm going to be honest, just like was them getting permission to make fun of a woman's appearance, right? Because now that this person had commented on her boyfriend's feet and she responded to like, this is like are you attracted to me and you're just taking out my boyfriend? Like everybody just like, somebody just took out like the gun at the start of a race and like hit the firing trigger, and now everybody's to the races. Let's go make fun of a woman's appearance. I think that's what happened here. Not just a woman of color. Either way, it doesn't really matter here, right? And if you look at the replies, no one wants to date you. Trust me. Bold move. When people disagree with my policy positions or call me a hypocrite, I tell them they want to fuck me as well. Now, the thing is, Tim, now we're doing the mild ones first because these get pretty intense. Yes, I agree with you, but let's say that somebody tweeted at Tim or me, Loaderbox, oh my gosh, my British compatriot, my Scottish scallywag, my lovely friend from the old country. Thank you so much for the rate of 85. I deeply appreciate it. We're talking about AOC's boyfriend's feet. The problem is, if I tweeted at Tim, or somebody tweeted at me, or any of these things, right? And they said, Dylan, your policy on Taiwan is imperialist, and I think that what you're doing is making America get involved in a situation that it's not really its business, and we need to take an isolationist view of the world. And then at the end of it, they said, also, Dylan, I was looking at your girlfriend's toeses, and her toeses are a little uneven, and her toes are like tiny, like Piggly Wigglies that I think about like being shoved in peanut butter and just being all of those like previous statements about my about my policy, right? Or just like gone. Like I'm no longer thinking about anything you just said about Taiwan because your weird, creepy ass started talking about my partner's feet. Or piggly wigglies, if you will. Oh my god. Captain Terrible, thank you for giving the tier 1 sub to Lonerbox. Hope you're doing well, Bonerbox. Anyway. So, I don't understand why anybody is surprised she's having this reaction. So if somebody's like going after me for hypocrisy, and they start talking about my feet or anybody in my life's feet, I'm gonna hyper focus on the fact they just started talking about feet. Because AOC has probably responded to claims of hypocrisy or policy disagreements a million times over. Not only in Congress, not only to her constituents, not only online, but just period. So when people just start bringing up her feet, which is not like a new meme, maybe this is the first for conservatives, but there have been a lot of people who disagree with AOC posting about her feet or like sexual things about her for a while. And so this is probably one of the few opportunities she gets to vent about people being creepy about this politician, okay? If people were constantly being creepy, and you want to know what? I'm going to be honest. A few of you in chat do get a little creepy about me sexually, okay? And I would just ask a few of you to like think about your comments before you make them sometimes, right? But if somebody was to like disagree with me and throw this out there, yeah, I'm going to be creeped out. Yeah, I'm going to comment on it. I mean, it's not that surprising, man. I'm going to be honest. Vosh, capping off 2021 political discourse with a bang. 2021 epitomized. AOC, when anyone disagrees with her, they hate me because they want to date me. To be clear, this is the only time I think she's ever said this. And it's because somebody talked about her boyfriend's feet. It's not that crazy to react this way. The thing is, look at this one, for example. You left your state during a crisis. That is a criticism. Okay. Got you. But that's not half the criticism here. Half the criticism is about her boyfriend's feet. Any person would react this way. For example, let's say I walked up to you and I said, and like everybody at home, if you have a partner or if you don't, think about your mom, your father, your anyone. And I say, hey, I disagree with you did this, 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 and this. I think it's hypocritical. Also, they're Piggly Wigglies are not the type of Piggly Wigglies I like, and peanut butter and and like all that weird stuff. Everything I said before, what I just stated, is gone. It's eliminated. Nobody cares anymore. Why the fuck you talking about feet? Like that's how normal people function. They don't just randomly intersplice their political criticisms with comments about people's feet. I think we should revisit Senator Republican presidential candidate Ted Cruz tweeted about MILF porn on 9/11. Jesus, little hacks. Okay, pull it in. Let's pull it in. Jesus. Beep, beep, beep. I feel like we're never going to get anywhere in this country, politically, if we can't even all agree on the simple fact that AOC is, oh, this fucking bait, that AOC is hot. Can we just start there? It's not really debatable. If we can get there together as a country, maybe there's hope for us yet. Dude, and if you look, I don't know if I want to hit the show more replies on this one. Oh, they're not that bad. I've seen women working at my local McDonald's that are legit hotter than her. She is woefully average looking. Wait, what about working at McDonald's makes you not attractive? Does like the burger grease just like do something to you? Like what? Whatever. Okay. Oh god. Okay, can I talk about this guy for a second? This guy, the persistence. This dude is fucking, he's something else. So I've seen this person IRL in person before. So the day after the Million MAGA March where I got like maced by the Proud Boys and girl got that. Look, I did a whole video on it if you want to listen to my testimony. The day after, I went to an event that was about people leaving the left, and in there, like people were like praising the Proud Boys for them being violent the day before. It was like a terrible thing, right? I still have the VOD of it somewhere. I never posted it. Go ask Lycan about it. Lycan knows about this too. He went with me. I think Leftist Owl also went towards the end too. But this guy was one of the speakers, right? And I found the majority of his speech underwhelming. But the thing that really got me about this guy in particular, by the God, is this like a 2-minute rant about her boyfriend's feet? Anyway, about this guy is afterwards, and this was like the heat of the pandemic, like the original like big spike. Not only did he like meet people afterwards, which is fine, okay, he met people unmasked and then kissed them on the cheek. Like, I think he even kissed one grandma, some woman like 70 years old, on the mouth. And I don't think it's like, I think honestly, like sometimes like you meet a fan, you shake their hand, like there's a few things you can do that always isn't like that over the line, like you can get over. But in the middle of the pandemic, you're kissing old women on the mouth. Like the woman looked 70 or 80 years old. It looked like she could barely walk, okay? I actually think she might have had a walker that she went back to, okay? And he just straight up kissed her on the mouth. I'm not talking kiss on the cheek. I'm not talking handshake. It was kiss directly on the mouth, and then a big old hug afterwards. Look, not only do I not kiss strangers I never met on the mouth, okay? That's the first thing. But the second thing is definitely not during the pandemic, okay? Anyway, I wonder what he has to say. I'm curious.
Hey everybody, this is Scott Pressler. The future of the Republican Party is medical freedom and patient protection.
I like how he introduces himself in a response tweet. Like, he's saying this as if it was just in his normal thread. Well, the thing is, a lot of people get popular on Twitter, and then they use that to get in with, like, big party people. This happens on the Democratic side and the Republican side. And so I guess he's just reply guying right now, I guess.
Because we as Republicans believe that you shouldn't be forced into retirement or forced to take a vaccination to continue your employment. We believe in protecting your job and protecting your livelihoods.
And AOC's boyfriend's feet.
And this goes into parental choice in education. You see, Democrats, they govern with coercion and mandates and force. And Republicans, we believe in liberty, freedom, and choice.
To be clear, they work with force. Don't you guys, and I'm not saying I don't necessarily, like, I'm sorry, I'm just going to be blunt. Aren't you pro-cop? And how do cops uphold the state? This is like a quick question. How does a cop and how does the military uphold the state? Aren't you pro-cop? Don't the cops and anybody who like enforces laws like do shit through coercion and force? It's a question of degrees. But like, as far as I know from Scott Presley's decision, like personal opinions, he wants less regulations on the police force. He wants like less citizen review. This is the type of stuff that, like, I've seen from his public statements in the past, that he's a favor. He's very, very, very pro-cop, as in, like, people need to stop criticizing the police pro-cop. Like, the police are patriotic and blah, 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 right? So I don't know if you can really be the one, like, oh, these Democrats, they love to, like, you know, rule by force when you're extensively, like, pro-cop.
That you, not government, should be able to dictate how to educate your children. Not school board members, but you, the parent. We believe in parental empowerment and education. And how do you notice the Democrats, with the strides that women have made in today's society, the Democrats want to erase your gender.
What? Can I see that on the 2020 Democratic agenda? Is that like a policy position? What does that mean?
They want to take away motherhood.
When? How? What?
Call it chest feeding, not breastfeeding.
What? Who are you talking about right now?
Call it Latinx, not Latino or Latina. And you see,
who cares?
Republicans, we celebrate.
The thing is, that's the thing, right? This is the problem, is he's not even replying to what the fuck this is about, okay? She's like, hey, stop talking about my boyfriend's feet. And he's like, why do you keep saying Latinx? Chest feeding, freedom. Completely unrelated. He's just reply guying.
Celebrate diversity, biological diversity. We celebrate the differences that there are between men and women. And union workers, how does it feel to have the Democrat Party turn its back on you, selling your jobs overseas to China? outsourcing your jobs to the rest of the world.
To be clear, Donald Trump built much of his products in China and also was like deeply in favor of sending jobs back over to China when it came to his personal business. And that was the man you supported wholeheartedly, right? Now you can say you disagree with Donald Trump's own personal moral convictions, but let me also say that the Republican Party has been the party of free trade for a very, very, very long time. And if the Republicans got back power, they would most likely still be the party of free trade. Also, Donald Trump's tariffs didn't really solve much of anything. If anything, it just hurt American domestic manufacturers who relied on things like steel to make products because the price of steel went up, and so did the price of aluminum.
No, Republicans, we believe, union workers, that your job should stay here in the United States of America, that we should manufacture those jobs right here in our country. And
I can tell you why he's pivoting to this. So I work for a political PAC and recently released a study that I was supposed to review for work on how Democrats have like fallen out in like mid-sized to small-sized industrial communities. And it is true that we have lost a lot of support in mid-sized to small-sized industrial communities. The more reliant the community was on like industrial labor, the more it actually went away from the Democratic Party. And I think this has to do with a few reasons. I think the biggest reason, though, was that loss of union labor and organized union labor. Because the union, like, generally was also protective of its political interests. They didn't tell people necessarily, this is how you need to vote, et cetera, et cetera. At least it didn't happen most of the time. But people knew that which politicians stood with unions. But if you no longer have a union job, that position doesn't really matter as much. So I don't really know what he's gaining from doing this, but it is true that communities that used to be largely union-dominated and industrial communities are no longer dominated by the Democratic Party.
more importantly, we're going to protect your jobs, union workers, while the Democrats are going to force you into retirement or force you to take a vaccination. Republicans, we are going to protect those union jobs. This is the future of the Republican Party. You have a choice to make. Do you want tyrannical, unconstitutional man? We are going to take the...
Okay, so this literally had nothing to do with this. What? Literally nothing. He's just reply guide. It's just clout sharking. Jesus Christ. Anyway. Anything else here? Okay. Can't? Did you mean won't? By the way, can I just say, when people post this like video as like how I got you AOC, to be like, I don't like, this is like this is just her having fun. This is her coming off as like a fun, enjoyable person to be around. Like, I don't understand how this video was ever supposed to be. I don't get like why this video was ever a criticism of AOC. I don't understand it. Anyway. Now let's look at the quote tweets, okay? I'm curious. And then we get to move on, because we're going a little long on this. Like a normal human being, Lamau. Gappy, can I ask you a question? I want to ask you a question, Gappy. So, here's my question. Now, I disagree with the persistence because of his political beliefs. Do you disagree with him because he's gay? Just throwing that in your direction, Gappy. I know you were voted DGG of the year, so I'm just being careful. Okay, let's look at some quote tweets. Get risky. Everyone who disagrees with me wants to put their dick in me. To be clear, okay? This person's talking about her boyfriend's feet. It's not that much of a stretch. Gappy, stop. Oh, okay. Okay, Gappy, if you don't want to talk about gay people, we don't have to. Anyway. You got caught enjoying the freedom of the Republican state, and your response was to claim the Republicans wanted to date you. You read that again. Sound crazy? It is. I probably... Okay, again. I swear to God, are you guys fucking insane, okay? She probably wouldn't have even acknowledged it if it was just a argument about hypocrisy or anything. It's the fact that they talked about her boyfriend's feet. Look, okay? They put a giant yellow marker around her boyfriend's feet. That creeped her out. She commented on the fact that it creeped her out, okay? I'm sorry. You're not going to get a normal response if you open up talking about people's piggly wigglies. I'm sorry. You're not going to get the, let me give you just, oh, okay, yes, you called my boyfriend ugly and said he has disgusting feet and talked about his feet at length for half the tweet, but let me respond to the argument of no, they're not going to do that. They're going to say, ew, fuck off, and they're going to want you to leave them alone. It's not that surprising. One of the biggest taboos of living under sexism is that women are not supposed to point out that men's weird, obsessive antagonism is a misogynist expression of sexual desire. Honestly, I'm pretty impressed that she just said it. True. As a female Marine, identity politics inbound. It's pathetic for me to see a female elected official respond that a man who disliked her political efforts is because she won't date him. A pitiful rebuttal. AOC, you look narcissistic. He talked about her fucking boyfriend's feet. You're insane. You are insane. If I did a thread with one criticism of you and then was like, hello, ma'am, let me talk about your feet at length, or as I call them, the piggly wigglies. Now, if you put them in a jar of jello, right? Like if I did that thread, right? Would you not have a right to be like, ew, stop? And then would everyone be allowed to say, wow, she doesn't want to respond to her hypocrisy? She responded because somebody made a weird comment about her fucking boyfriend's feet. It's totally justifiable for her to respond to it. True, what if Dylan did... Stop. Don't ask what sounded... Chat. She's not hot enough to act like this, Lamau. Wow, this really blew up. I have no problem with the guy's feet. Steve is a buddy, but I'm not down with pale male. Not nice. The only reason I'm not pale is I do 45 min a week on a tanning bed. As for AOC, poor constituent services and bulgy eyeballs continue to be troubling. The fact that Gregory Kelly, someone known for being a fucking maniac on the internet, somehow, even though while still wrong, has the most reasonable take out of everybody on the other side of the aisle is extremely concerning. Wait, so the tweet isn't from some random female high school sophomore? It's from a sitting U.S. Congress member? Grow the fuck up. Yeah, look, let us talk about your feet. In fact, I believe, as an American, that AOC should be constitutionally obligated to send everybody pictures of her feet. Isn't that right, America? Who's with me? Let's propose that bill. Let's get that passed. Come on. Don't clip that, okay? I was being Dash for a second. I was being Dash Rip Rock, who is straight, white, toxically masculine, educated, gainfully employed, fit, Christian, Trump, Republican. Brilliant. You criticize me because you can't have me is the weakest take. Gonna be honest, with Ian Miles Chong's history of comments about women, he's the last person who should be talking, okay? I'm gonna be honest. Too late till... I am beginning to think that AOC has been protected from herself until now by handlers. I love the handlers thing. Like the handlers when it comes to Joe Biden, the handlers when it comes to AOC. Anytime you don't like somebody, there has to be handlers involved. Because if you think somebody's stupid enough, they must have handlers protecting them, right? A great conspiracy theory. She may not be ready for prime time. Chuck Schumer just might breathe a sigh of relief. The last girl who worked for Ted Kennedy that had these kinds of flirtatious come-ons ended up drowned in the back of its Oldsmobile.
A curd is a curd.
No one wants to date you except loser soy boys. You're not good looking and your personality is even uglier than what's on the outside. Okay, is this Samir Khan? Yes, it is. Okay, can I just say that this person was so unbelievably insufferable and spread so much fucking disinfo that even that she got fired from Russia Today. She was so bad that even Russia Today wouldn't take her. Even Russia Today. That's so sad. That's so brutal. It's really not good. She also like a big lover of like Bashar al-Assad and all those types. And the problem is, like every once in a while she'll be like war bad, and so everybody says Yas Queen, and then like a lot of lefties will like soy out over her. But she's really terrible. Like I mean that with my heart of hearts. One second. Let me see if I can find any of her old Russia Today articles. Oh, here it is. This is what it was. I completely forgot this is why she left. RT reporter exit network after misguided praise of Stalin's gulags. Jesus Christ. What, did you not think that in Russia Today, okay, an article, a network based in Russia, that complimenting Russia's gulags in a country where there's still survivors from Russia's gulags might like get you in a bad state of mind? Dude, I'm sorry, after Stalin died, his direct predecessor had to disavow a bunch of the stuff he did, and you're still cut up, man. You're still in like 1950s dialogue, okay? You're still in those dialogue trees. You got like you've had over 70 years to catch up with the rest of the world. You're fucking insane, okay? You're insane. Jesus Christ. Alexandria and I appreciate you giving us a privacy on a special alone time vacation. Also, I made these sandals. Lol, Cortez Steve is happily married. Don't project your own insecurities by needing every man that the room to want you. That's a bartender, not a congresswoman. Girl, bye. Okay. I'm gonna be honest. The Republican Party in affairs is nothing new. So, bringing up the fact that a man is happily married isn't exactly like a response here. Okay, look, we've been talking about this long enough. We're done talking about our feet. People didn't have a good response to this. Jesus Christ.